High side. High siding is a rider's nightmare. It can happen during a lean as a result of the rear wheel losing traction and suddenly regaining it, which catapults the rider in the air over the bike. Bit like a bucking bronco, but with your expensive bike and life at stake. It takes a special breed of superhumans to save a high side. Horsepower and torque. Think of a motorcycle as a boxer. Horsepower is how fast the boxer hits. Torque is how hard the boxer hits. IAM. A group of people determined to take the fun out of biking. Inline 4. An engine configuration where all 4 cylinders are in a straight line. It is the conventional layout in cars as well. The cattle refers to the Suzuki GT750, which was the first liquid-cooled Japanese bike. Liquid, hot engine, boiling, kettle. Quacker, a Kawasaki motorbike. Quackers are the mortal enemies of Gixxers, which is funny since they're essentially identical. Low side. This is arguably the better way to crash, if you had to. While high siding is you going over the bike, low siding is you going under the bike and shattering your ego, typically caused by losing the front end. Mono. This is a wheelie. It's this thing, which I'm sure you'd never heard of. MotoGP. MotoGP is the Formula 1 of the motorbike world, where top manufacturers compete with prototype bikes for the title of who can go fastest in a wonky circle. Nodding. Nodding or waving. It's the equivalent of bus drivers waving at each other. It's a way of saying, hey, you're on a motorbike, I'm on a motorbike.
Full frame!
OEM. This is original equipment manufacturer. As opposed to aftermarket parts, these are parts that are on the bike from the factory. Öhlins, a manufacturer of high quality suspension components that also happens to be extremely out of my reach. Paddock stand. These are detachable stands used to lift a wheel off the ground. They're very useful for maintenance work. Panniers. These are pieces of luggage that clip onto the back of the bike. Just don't forget that you have them on. R1. Everybody knows what's an R1, even my grandma, and sometimes she thinks I'm my uncle. Rear sets. Basically the foot pegs. The expensive ones tend to be adjustable, where you can make them higher for a more committed position and ground clearance, or lower for more comfort. Renthals. Renthal are a manufacturer mainly known for their sprockets and especially handlebars. It's mathematically impossible to find a Street Fighter project without a Renthal handlebar. They're so synonymous with fighter projects that I'm starting to think they spray gravel in corners at night. Rossi. Valentino Rossi, il dottore, one of the greatest motorbike racers of all time. He defined a whole generation of racers, pretty much defines MotoGP, and turned people who otherwise wouldn't give a toss about motorcycles into hardcore MotoGP fans. Smidsy, short for sorry mate, I didn't see you. Typically the first words out of a cager's mouth as they stand over you, lying in a mixture of your own and your bike's fluids. Sprocket. Sprockets are the wheels with teeth you see on bikes. There are 2, one connected to the engine, front sprocket, and one to the driven wheel, rear sprocket. Changing teeth allows you to increase top speed or acceleration. Squids. Now there's no definitive definition for a squid, but they're typically people with abysmal regard for their safety and the safety of the others. For squids, t-shirt and sandals provide more than adequate protection. Yellow lines mean as much to a squid as indicators do to a BMW driver. Stoppy or an endo. This is the opposite of a wheelie, raising the back through an aggressive grab of the brakes. If you're looking for a way to have 200 kilos of bike smash on you, well, you found it, my man. Subframe. This is the tail section of a bike's frame where the seat is. Swing arm or swinging arm. On a bike with rear suspension, the swing arm is the pivoting section which connects the rear wheel to the frame. It is also subject to the worst modification you can make, an extended swing arm. If you want your bike to handle like a train and be as long as one, then this mod is for you. Tail tidy refers to tidying the aesthetics of the back end. It involves lifting the number plate and exposing more of the rear tire. Not tail tidy, tail tidy. Tank slapper. This is what happens when your steering tells you,
look at me, I'm the captain now.
And vigorously wobbles from side to side. Top box. This is a piece of hard luggage mounted behind the seat. Also, the best way to make any bike look uncool. And I do mean any bike. Don't believe me? Okay. Kawasaki H2, one of the maddest production motorbikes
in the world.
Boom, uncool. Ducati Street Fighter, not just cool. Ready? Trail braking. Trail braking is continuing to brake past the turning point all the way to the apex. It's a whole can of worms with people advocating for trail braking everywhere and others to not, but you don't use a hammer for every repair, but it's the perfect tool for some jobs. Wheelie, the primitive yet addictive act of raising the front wheel off the ground, and just like anything fun in life, it's illegal. Winglets. No, you didn't pass out and suddenly wake up in a plane video. They've quickly found their ways onto production bikes, such as the gorgeous Ducatis and the H2R, for example. The idea is to provide you with downforce on the front for better handling. And that concludes this A to Z for motorcycle culture. Did I miss anything that a beginner absolutely has to know? Let me know in the comments. If you learned something or enjoyed the video, then make sure you subscribe so I know you liked it and continue to make more of it. Don't forget to share this with a friend or a mate who just got into motorcycling so he can finally understand you going on about your bike. I'll see you on the next one. Cycling so you can finally understand what you got.